Hi, everybody. So, eh, so much good news, so much amazing news. Let's see if I can. Okay. Looks like I'm on. And I'm just going on to my phone so that I can see all the comments. I know there's a way to do this that's easier, but okay, here we go. So, this is day 1936 days since Richard was forcibly removed from his barracks room there at Fort Bliss in El Paso, Texas. Why? Because he was a whistleblower. He was the federal witness about what was going on at the border and also the Walmart mass shooting. Um, Evidence to the Walmart mass shooting. And of course, all the criminal trafficking that is directly was infiltrated onto Fort Bliss. We know that because of the half a million children, and I'm not over exaggerating that. It was a 500,000 children that were trafficked through Fort Bliss at taxpayer expenses, and that was the outcome of them silencing Richard, and of course affecting the 2020 election. 500,000 children were then trafficked through Fort Bliss because of that election fraud, because of the silencing of federal whistleblowers like our son Richard Halliday, who is absolutely been recognized as a hero, as a whistleblower, as sacrificing in him, being sacrificed in the line of duty, and that his legacy, it's so big. This case is so big. I think it's one of the biggest criminal cases in U.S. history, if not the biggest case in U.S. history. Because of all the elements around it and the reach of it, the international reach of it, because of the organ harvesting, because of the um, illegal C-sections, ripping out babies from mothers and harvesting their organs and dumping their bodies, because of the 500,000 children that were trafficked through Fort Bliss, because of the fraud with the unidentified migrant, the recycling of corpses, the bodies, for humanitarian aid, the fraud to collect on humanitarian aid over and over and over again with the corpses and corpses of even family members, and the families were then given urns of animal ash or pulverized stone. Um, it's a huge fraud, and it, of course, we have over 5 years. We can say this very clearly because of all the evidence that we have, all the evidence. There's so much evidence, right? Clearly, evidence with witnesses. How do we know that Richard was dismembered? How do we know that it was horrific that happened to him? Because of officials, because of the State Department, because of the DES, because of DHS, right? Uh, these witnesses that over the years that we have have evidence with, and it's just clear the tampering, the absolute tampering in Richard's case of so much evidence, and then the hiding, not only the fabricating. We know that they manufactured and fabricated and leaked and tampered with evidence all through this. And we know right now, we know right now we have all this evidence, And where is Osvaldo Brunda Rodriguez? Where is he of El Diario? Because we've worked with him while we were there, with El Diario, with our stories. We, where is he right now? Because we are the holders. We have the cards in our hands of the biggest stories in the United States right now. Really, especially in El Paso and Chihuahua. We have, uh, so much evidence, so much information. And what this tells you is that, this is bought. You have billionaires out there that absolutely control the media. Texas Tribune, El Paso Matters, El Diario, KTSM, right? KTSM. Um, and the phone, when Rob, my uh Richard's dad, called, we were like, where's Richard? As soon as that happened, the phone was ringing off the hook. But now here, 5.5 years later, when we have the answers, so many answers, and even more because of the El Paso Criminal Law Magistrate Court, because of the El Paso Medical Examiner, because of the 34th Judicial District Attorney's Office. We have answers now, because of El Paso ISD um, uh, Police Department. We have answers to all of that, with the tunnels, with the schools, with the tunnels, with the 2028 stamp, with the lack of election, the disenfranchisement of the people there in El Paso, the illegal medical examiner, and the tampering of hundreds of um, death certificates, right? We have answers to um, the county clerk's office with Delia Briones and the Delia Briones' family, the Poison Ponds, which, we have breaking news. We have a lot of breaking news. It's just coming in. But the body cam footage that was used, and I'll even do a post about it, because there's so much to cover. There's so much to cover, and I try to make illustrations for everything so that everyone has a set of cards in their hands, right? A set of cards to look at all of these illustrations, to understand what's going on, to help connect that red yarn, right? The red yarn that connects everything. And it'll lead to Woody Hunt, right? It'll lead to Woody Hunt. It'll lead to the Mormon faction cartel enterprise that is working with, in a very bad way, foreign and domestic enemies, to do us harm. To do us harm. That's what it leads to, and to exploit us. I mean, look, they've got the 34th Judicial District Attorney office um, afraid to leave a paper trail right now, right? They can't even look into this actress's um, police report, which is also breaking news, right? This actress that had a drive-by shooting, just to lay it out really quickly, and the 34th Judicial District Attorney's Office, the prosecuting office, dismiss it, right? Because they don't want to have a paper trail. They don't want to have a paper trail at all right now, because of the trouble that they're in, because of this illegal, this imposter Montoya, right? Whose name is James Bonneau, um, and his 2028 stamp, right? They don't want to leave any paper trail because of what they did with accepting him or backing him up, committing all these crimes. And so they dismissed the case on this actress. Uh, I believe her name is, oh, I'll look it up. I want to say Gomez, but that's something else. The point is that the judicial system is broken. That's the point. And this is in El Paso. This is in Texas. This is in the United States. The judicial system is broken. And we do not want to end up a failed state like what Chihuahua is right now, where you can be going to watch a horse race, and all of a sudden, a cartel group comes up and does a professional hit execution style to the opposing cartel right in front of your eyes, right? Where then you go home and you lock yourself in, you impose a self-imposed, it goes back to like 2020 where you're told to stay in your house and stand 6 feet apart and all of this stuff. I mean, who wants to live like that? The businesses are shuttering. There can't be kids playing out outside on these wonderful fall evenings or and during the day, these wonderful fall days, because this is they're living in fear. They're being terrorized. They're being terrorized. This is what's going on in Chihuahua. And Maru Campos, and even like on my ex, someone's like, "Oh no, that's not what's going on." No, it is what's going on. And now we have officials coming out and saying it, and we don't want that in our country, right? And when you don't have um, a prosecutor in the 34th Judicial District Attorney's Office that's correctly installed, and so every case is botched, and the rest of the office can't even take on a drive-by shooting, right? And look at the police report because you're afraid to have a paper trail because you're being investigated. Um, eh, you know, uh, it's, this is a slippery, slippery slope. And so this is why people say, well, why hasn't Richard's story been in the news? Well, when you have a U.S. Army soldier where the military installation was infiltrated by the enemies of this country, and there was human trafficking going on and organ harvesting going on, and the worst type of or weapons trafficking, smuggling, and then even oil smuggling. And then the soldier that's whistleblowing ends up being his life being taken from him and his organs being taken from him and him being dismembered and taken over to a foreign country off of Fort Bliss to be disposed of. And then you have this huge cover up with the manufacturing of evidence and tampering of evidence and leaking of files. And the CID is in on it, right? Don't forget the CID was in on this, is a prime suspect in it. The DES is in on it, the Director of Emergency Services, who controls the security on our military installation, the huge military, beautiful military installation of Fort Bliss. And you have someone that is a traitor. That can't be trusted, that's given the role of the Director of Emergency Services. This is, and then you have Lieutenant General Sean Bernabe leading this cover up, right? Leading this cover up from the military standpoint. And then, of course, you have Woody Hunt leading this cover up, or, leading the whole operation. He's leading the whole damn operation of this treacherous, vicious crime. Um, Against the people of El Paso, against the United States of America, against our soldiers, against us, against, they're not for anybody. They're not even for themselves, right? they're not even for themselves, because the joy of the evil only lasts. I don't even know if it ever lasts. I don't know if it ever lasts. It's just a sickness. It's like I enjoy being sick or something. And this is the what's going on at the border, and it is a very bad slippery slope to a failed state. And so, thank God that President Trump won the election. And now, just like what they did in 2020 with all the lies they did there, they are lying, lying, lying. You have Marjorie Taylor Greene. There's so many, but Marjorie Taylor Greene, she's in the news, and she's 4 years of not caring one bit about a 500,000 children. And you're talking about 17-year-old and below being trafficked through Fort Bliss, right? And Fort Bliss is White Sands, and White Sands borders Zorro Ranch, right? She never mentioned that when it comes to Jeffrey Epstein, that Fort Bliss borders Epstein's ranch, and he could use that airspace, right, for landing on his private landing strip, and how that absolutely is suspicious with the whole border. Right, with the whole border, that all needs to be investigated. Where was Marjorie Taylor Greene, right? Because we've been calling this out, and she's had access to intelligence and information. So this is all a plot again, an additional plot again to stop accountability. That President Trump, the new sheriff in town, the he is the number one law enforcer of the country, right? He is the chief magistrate, right? So, they'll do anything to stop him because of that enormous power that he has right now in order to achieve accountability. So, talk about sabotage, and they sabotaged it before. But my mom always said, Mensch denkt, but Gott lenkt, right? In German. They can all try to plan, they can all try to sabotage, but God is in control. He's got the will. And we have uh, just achieved amazing things through these 5.5 years against these demons, these odds, and everything, to achieve accountability. And of course, now we have all these confirmations about who Richard is, a hero, absolutely loyal. To his oath, to his duty, in the line of duty, death, which is absolutely, well, the letters from President Trump confirming that he is a whistleblower, and his legacy is indelible, right? Indelible and deserving of respect of every American. So, so that, even though that well, we knew it from the beginning, right? We knew it from the beginning, and we absolutely had to debunk all of the false narratives that this fake media, the fake news, was putting out. And so we have earned trust in many people in El Paso, and I want to say God bless you for that. That you have learned to trust us, because we have been right, and we are absolutely in the pursuit of justice, and also for the betterment of El Paso, uh, for all the people that live there, against these cartel that are just sickening. We're just sick of them, right? We're just absolutely sick of them. And the likes of Maru Campos, and um, General John Kelly, and all of these that collaborate and collude with criminal enterprise, um, of organ harvesting and ripping babies out, and the drugs and the weapons and the just all the smuggling, the theft, just theft left and right, and trying to profit off the theft. Um, well, profiting off of the theft, not trying to profit, profiting off the theft. It's really, they're building their house on sand, and that's what's it's crumbling now. It's absolutely crumbling. And so you see that with um, the violence at Paral. What a beautiful place when you look on the map, and then they're bringing in this violence, right? They're bringing in this violence. And so we have earned respect, and it has absolutely been hard earned respect. We've worked our tail off to get the respect of El Pasoans and of Chihuahua, those that live in Chihuahua, Mexico. We absolutely have worked very, very hard to earn your respect, and we are very grateful for it. And we thank God for it. And now we're getting sent information. And today we were sent an amazing letter, an amazing confirmation that an investigation is underway of El Paso Criminal Law Magistrate Court Judge Herberto Acosta. He's the lead judge on the El Paso Criminal Law Magistrate Court, and that is he's being investigated. And we know that because a victim of very, very violent crime. It didn't have to be. It didn't have to be, because the magistrate court allows these very violent offenders with past histories, and you know that through the Ukrainian that was just stabbed in the neck in North Carolina. Didn't have to be. These are repeat offender, violent offenders that do these kind of crimes, and because of the El Paso Criminal Law Magistrate Court being in constitutional crisis, it is absolutely in a constitutional crisis, because they have countywide jurisdiction, and so all of those judges need to be elected. They're not, and because they're not following the law, that risks every case. And so it was really, we're very, very grateful to get that letter that from a source to confirm that there is an investigation going on. And that really made our day. It really made our day. So thank you so much. I can't tell you how thankful we are when people share confirmations like that with us, to know that we're not alone. You're not alone. This is a government of the people, by the people, for the people, and we are absolutely working together with you to bring justice to El Paso, to Juarez, even, because as El Paso goes, so goes Texas, so goes Juarez, so goes Texas, so goes the United States, and so goes the world. So we want, we are really putting in hard work to make a difference. You see that with the cards that I just posted of Maru Campos giving $200 million to media, the likes of El Diario, to control the media. Absolutely. If you give $200 million in a year to media, you can kind of control them. You can they're going to kind of do what you want them to do, right? And so that is just so criminal. um, what Maru Campos has done, because now you understand why things are so sanitized when it comes to the Pemex oil smuggling, when it comes to the Plenitude narco crematoria, when it comes to this parole violence, and who are the ones that died, what do they do, and more information is coming out about that. So we are absolutely giving you that hard breaking news, and as soon as we get it. So thank you, Martha, for coming on, for your prayers and your love. I know it's so late; it's almost 2 o'clock in the morning here, and there's just no time to sleep because during the day it's very busy, um y- getting all this information, checking on the verifying the information, learning the information, and then putting it in a way that I can present it to you with these cards, and these images that I put up. I call them cards because if you have a handful of cards and you can put them together, you've got the best hand. We've got the best hand, and it gives you leverage. It gives you leverage. It really will help your life when you know what's going on. And so I hope that those help you understand what is going on at the border, and we put it out there, because that's also evidence. It's also evidence, and it's like Dallas Hart is Richard's. The prime suspect in taking his life, right? And his platoon leader. And we've been saying that for years. That's evidence, right? And if they didn't like it, they would send us a cease and desist, right? If they didn't like it. But they haven't done that. They haven't done that because that's who he is. That's who he is. Um, and so these cards are very important. And hopefully it will get Lilani Hart arrested, right? Because I've made a lot of Lilani Hart cards because she is a convicted criminal that admitted to the worst type of crimes against children, facilitating the worst types of crimes against children, and failing to report for decades the worst type of crimes against children. So and much more, and her legal status, her illegal status here in the country. So this is all really important information. And I just wanted to say thank you so much for sharing, and commenting. That all helps the algorithm move this all forward. And I just want to, you know, just tell you all we love you, and we're getting there. We're really getting there. We're in the vicious negotiation for the repatriation of Richard's remains. We have confirmation they have Richard's remains, um, through a lot of evidence. And so this is not something that, we're just on a whim. We're not on a whim. We're on hard evidence here. And so this is what's happening. But of course, with the likes of Maru Campos, with the likes of um, the rest of the leaders there that were participating in a lot of this trafficking, and now they're trying to cover up the evidence, right? The evidence of, yeah, that would really undo them. Really, it would really undo them. So, thank you so much for everything. And we will be back tomorrow, God willing. Keep